Welcome to the show. My name is Bill Callahan. Welcome. KO Bets is the name of the channel. If you wouldn't mind, before we start, feel free, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment if you have any questions. We do some football commentary on this show too, but tonight is reserved for what was a terrific event, UFC 266, Volkanovski versus Ortega. We got the recap show. I had a crazy night of betting. So we'll go through the card overall here, top to bottom, go through all the fights. Finished the night only 9-5 on the money line picks, but I didn't bet on every fight, and I had a really, really good night of fighting. Made some really intelligent plays that turned losses into wins. So yeah, let's just get into it. Open up the UFC page here. Is this, yeah, it's going. Okay, perfect. So the night started off with a loss for me on the money line. We had Jonathan Pierce against Omar Moraes. Jonathan Pierce scored the submission in round 2. Really just looked, full of energy, and I picked Omar on the money line. I didn't nominate any prop bets, so this brings Jonathan Pierce's record to 2-1 in the UFC. Now only 2 out of 15 of his pro fights have gone to a decision. So when this guy gets in there, it's starting to become a trend. He either loses or wins fights quickly. I mean, only 4 losses, so. And then Omar, this was his first loss inside the distance. So just based on the research that I did and stuff, I'm real happy I didn't bet on any sort of result in this fight. I didn't bet on Omar, even though I liked him heading into this fight. So Jonathan Pierce, good performance. In the next fight, we had Matthew Semelsberger against Martin Sinel. Definitely liked Matthew Semelsberger. He was the heavy favorite at -550. Took him only a few strikes to knock out his opponent. Good for him. Prop bet that I did bet on was the Matthew Semelsberger KO at -135. Big improvement over the -550 odds. You could have even gone with the Matthew Semelsberger KO or decision for -400. So that was a nice win to start off my betting night. Next bout, we had Cody Brunson against Nick Maximoff. This was a 3-round decision that Maximoff won. Strictly, it looked like on volume, takedowns. Just was the better fighter in this bout. So this one was a bout I was really excited for. Euros Medic against Jalen Turner. Really thought that I liked Medic. I did place a bet on him. But I found myself in the parlays going with what was more probable, which was the fight would end inside the distance. That was -225 odds, so that was it was smart to fade away from Euros Medic in a fight where both guys were super dangerous. Turner scores the round 1 submission. So, I mean, ultimately on a night I won a lot. It was maybe like $20 on a Euros Medic KO I had betted out there. Otherwise, I just, in all my parlays and as far as like putting big money on the fight, I only went with inside the distance for the finish. In the next bout here, we had Roxanne Modafferi against Talia Santos. Talia just dominated the fight, start to finish. Roxanne, durable veteran. You definitely figured Talia would win, but Roxanne, she's got a habit of winning fights that you don't think she's going to win. She loses fights she should win. It's kind of up and down always with her. So we'll see who she draws in the next bout. But Talia, good performance, gets the decision win. I nominated as a prop bet Talia via KO or decision. You know, she obviously scores the decision, and then you hear me flipping back and forth. I also liked that Talia and Roxanne fight to go the distance. I placed a bet on that, so that the fight would go to a decision at minus 250 odds. That was a good pick. Big improvement over the minus 450 odds that Talia was presenting as the favorite. And this, you know, this is kind of where the string started. Doing that Euros Medic, well, the Matthew Semmelsberger fight, the Euros Medic versus Turner fight, not going the distance. Roxanne Modafferi, Talia Santos going the distance. Then I bet on a Chris Daukaus knockout. So Chris Daukaus scores the round 2 knockout. He looked athletic. He looked good. So he moves to 4-0 in the UFC. He had minus 210 favorite odds, but the KO was plus 110. So that was a really nice result for us, or for myself. We had Dan Hooker against Nasrat. This fight, we bet on Dan Hooker. I didn't nominate any sort of prop bets. Oh, no, I did. I put out there that Hooker would win via KO or decision for minus 135, which wasn't, you know, it just wasn't a huge odds improvement over the minus 150 odds you were getting. So I didn't personally bet on that, but that was something we discussed on Friday. Great win for Dan Hooker. Gets back in the win column. Should hopefully turn around and fight a, you know, top tier opponent in his next bout. In the next fight, we had wait 1 second. Oh, I did skip one. Marlon Moraes against Merab. We picked Merab on the money line. He scores the round 2 KO. Look at that output. Like 246 strikes thrown in 9 minutes and 35 seconds. That's insane. Sorry, not thrown, landed. 307 strikes thrown. Just a ridiculous pace from Merab. And he scores the KO. Just, you know, Marlon Moraes got a knockdown, which, you know, he carries a lot of power, but just a great performance out of Merab. Also had the 4 takedowns. The machine, they call him for a reason. So we picked Merab on the money line, minus 255 odds. You know, you could have gotten a little bit better odds on a KO or decision for minus 200. That was something I threw out there, but I didn't personally do that, and I hope I conveyed that, you know, picking the result in that fight might be a little bit tough. Jessica Andrade against Cynthia Calvillo. Really liked Andrade heading into this fight. She was the favorite at minus 240 odds. I liked her to get the finish, so a prop bet I threw out there was the Andrade KO or submission for plus 180. That was something I bet on, along with had Jessica Andrade on the money line and a lot of parlays that obviously hit. In this next fight, Curtis Blaydes did what he does. He, you know, laid on Jardineau, Rosenstrike, and, you know, had a lot of ground and pound, kind of, you know, 3 takedowns, and then it stayed on the ground. That's what you kind of figured. Curtis Blaydes, he wins 99 out of 100 rounds with Jardineau, Rosenstrike, but the one round he loses, he's knocked out. So I picked Jardineau, Rosenstrike, the underdog, heavy underdog at plus 260 odds to win this fight, just because we had seen Blaydes in there with a similar type opponent, Francis Ngannou twice, Derek Lewis once, and he got knocked out. Jardineau, his only losses prior to this were to Gan and Francis Ngannou as well. So these guys are two really good fighters. They're going to continue to have top 10 fights all the time. And Curtis Blaydes, super young. He's probably primed and ready to make a run at the belt after all the heavyweight chaos sorts itself out. So that'll be interesting. Then we had, I didn't bet on that fight just because I knew Jardineau was, sorry, I did do one bet on a Jardineau round 1 KO for like $10, but that obviously didn't hit. I just didn't bet on it, just didn't have confidence in either guy. Same with this next fight, Nick Diaz against Robbie Lawler. Just didn't bet on this, you know. Nick Diaz did what he does, threw a lot of shots, came out. He actually stayed on the fence a little bit more than I was expecting in this fight. Ultimately, Robbie Lawler scores the knockout. Weird little sequence, but high IQ move to walk away from Nick Diaz when he was on his back. Great win for Robbie Lawler to get back in the win column. Interested to see what Nick does next. I do hope he fights again. You know, we'll see what type of opponent he draws. Then we had the bullet, Valentina Shevchenko. And at this point, it's like what she's done is absolutely ridiculous. If you're betting against Valentina, you just aren't watching her fights, aren't watching her development as a fighter. Even at the top, she's starting to distance herself so much from these other athletes in her division. Really great performance. And at this point, you know, I think I'm going to roll with Valentina finishes. You know, we'll see who she draws in her next fight, but I'm going to keep betting on the KO submission finish. I got it for minus 225 odds. She was minus 1,600 odds, minus 1,600 odds. We improved that to minus 225. I had that, and I felt comfortable with it. You know, it made it to round 4. Lauren Murphy, super tough fighter, but, you know, Valentina is just a whole nother level. So I felt comfortable with that bet. Then in the last fight, we had a crazy championship fight against Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega. Alex probably took definitively 4 rounds, probably that 3rd round too. I mean, it kind of, that guillotine and then the triangle choke, and I think he might have had one other guillotine in the 4th, Brian Ortega did, but those were just absolutely insane. I don't know how Alexander got out of them. I bet on Alexander Volkanovski. My heart was pounding when he was put into that initial guillotine. Really thought he was either going to pass out or tap. Not sure how he got out of that, nor am I sure how he got out of the triangle then. Well, I think the triangle, he was able to roll to his back, which kind of forced Ortega on him. I have no idea how he got out of the guillotine, though. That was a deep guillotine. That's what Brian Ortega does, and Alex got out of it. And, I mean, just the heart Alex showed. I mean, this guy's the ultimate competitor. I like Volkanovski a lot. I think I like Alexander Volkanovski against anyone not named Max Holloway. And even then, whenever that gets scheduled, Alexander versus Holloway 3, I don't know if I can even bet on that fight, because Alexander Volkanovski is just so impressive. He is the champ for a reason. He showed it Saturday night. Great win. So I kind of want to go through. I did our conservative Our conservative parlay that I threw out there, I threw out Medic versus Turner does not go the distance. Andrade money line. Samil versus Dawkins does not go the distance. You got plus 206 odds. That hit. As far as the prayer, I called it the prayer parlay. I don't know if I like that name. I've got to come up with something better though. The only fight we lost on that was the Medic money line. So that was a little bit of a bummer because you would have gotten plus 2,396 odds or plus 3,304 odds. Personally, I did place some parlays where instead of, and I don't know if there's a great way to convey like what I'm doing live. I don't even know if that's allowed, but for the Medic versus Turner fight, rather than betting, like just betting on Medic, I like the idea of the fight not going the distance, and so I use that instead on a lot of parlays, and I hit a 9-pick, an 8-pick, a 7-pick, a 6-pick, a 5-pick, a 4-pick, a 3-pick parlay. It was nuts. I couldn't lose. Well, I did lose. I lost on several money line picks, but as far as the fights I chose to bet on, I did pretty well. So I just want to highlight a couple of good bets. Picking that Medic versus Turner fight to not go the distance, I felt confident in Medic. However, it was a pick'em, and both fighters were dangerous. So, the smart move was just to bet on a finish in that fight, in my opinion. Chris Dawkins, if you liked him, he needed to win probably a KO by knockout. I don't know how else he would have won that fight. Valentina Shevchenko. You can't bet on minus 1,600 odds. You can, but it's just ridiculous odds. Valentina. Same with Jessica Andrade. Those are probably the two best fighters I would say in that division, and I like their chances of putting away any fighter they go up against. I like their chances of doing that consistently. And then if Valentina faces Andrade, I imagine it would end similarly to how it ended in their last fight. Another good bet was Roxanne versus Talia. Does not go the distance. So Talia was minus 450. And just in search for better odds, you got that for minus 250, which was pretty good. So overall, just a crazy, crazy, crazy UFC event. Awesome card. I loved all the fights that I was able to watch. I did get to play some night golf on Saturday with my family to celebrate my mom's birthday, and that was interesting. Glow stick in the golf ball. Had a lot of fun doing that, and then when I got home, it was right around the start of the main card, so I got to catch most of those fights, and then just rewatch some of the fights I was interested in throughout the day yesterday. As you guys know, I am doing football bets on Sundays where I basically share my picks, and we'll highlight everything at the probably next week in the show, but actually I kind of want to give you an idea of what I did. So moneyline wins, we were 10-5 on the money line. On the spread, we didn't do so hot. We're 7-8 currently, and then on the over/under, we are 10-5. So we're doing, and it seems to be a season-long trend. We're real hot on the over/under and money line. We're about 500 on the spread. So hopefully tonight Dallas covers the 3.5 points. I like Dallas tonight. I like the over in Dallas versus Philly. But that being said, 3.5 points. The bet I placed tonight was Dallas by 2.5 points. Just to make sure if they win by a field goal, I'm covered. I did hit some nice bets yesterday between, let's see, we had New Orleans beating New England, Kansas City. That was a bummer. I'm not gonna lie. Baltimore got saved in that one. Arizona, that wasn't looking great initially. Let's see. I'm trying to see what the big surprises were. Oh, Pittsburgh might just be like bad. They looked awful against Cincinnati. My Bears obviously didn't fare well, but no surprises there. Denver shut out the Jets. Oh, Las Vegas versus Miami. That was a crazy game. I got a little bit lucky there on a money line bet on Vegas. Basically, they went down, and I just saw an opportunity to bet against a bad team with a backup QB in. I love that Los Angeles Rams against Tampa Bay game. I picked Tampa Bay. The Rams look good, though. And then Minnesota beat Seattle. Green Bay had a nice win. So tonight we got Dallas against Philly. I need Zeke to get some work in order to win in my fantasy football league. I'm 2-0. 2-0 to start the year, but I need Zeke to pull off a miracle. I'm going up against a pretty good team. I had Josh Allen, DeAndre Swift, Denver's defense with 19 points. Like, come on. So yeah, I'm having a great week in fantasy football. I just need Zeke Elliott to have a great game because I'm down by like 21.6 points, even though I'm up. It's PPR and I'm up to 150 points. So it's crazy. So I think that about wraps up the show. Wanted to hop on early just so I could catch some of that football game. Appreciate you tuning in. If you want to, go ahead and leave your best bet in the comments. I'll leave mine later tonight. I'll share that with everyone from this weekend. And everyone have great weeks. We've got, real quick. We'll go back to the browser here. Next weekend, we've got a pretty decent card. We've got, it was Johnny Walker against Thiago Santos. So there's some decent fights on this. I don't know. I think I like Thiago a little bit more, but I don't know. Johnny Walker's good. Kevin Holland, always entertaining. Kind of some interesting matchmaking on here, so I look forward to doing the show on Friday night. We'll do that at some point. I'm not sure what time it'll be. I'll try and do it earlier, but not sure what time. Maybe I'll do a Thursday night one just to experiment this week to see how that goes. But and I also think my brother's gonna tune in to help with the Sunday football picks from now on. So we'll get him a spreadsheet going. He'll be a little bit behind me, but we'll get him one going so we can keep track of his picks. Make it a little competition for the end of the year, so that should be a lot of fun. Otherwise, not too much else going on with myself this evening. Oh, John Callahan hit the Rams and the Packers. Dang. Yeah, I took the Packers on the spread, so I didn't take them on the money line to get positive odds, and then, the Rams. they're not going to go undefeated because no one ever does. But it's going to suck. Whatever week they lose, it's just going to suck because I'm going to keep probably betting on them. Yesterday, I think my best bet was the Raiders when they went down a little bit. Yeah, that was my best bet. When they were down like 14-0, I bet on them for the money line, which was pretty good. All right. I'm going to let everyone go. Everyone have a good night. Enjoy your week. Stay safe. Like the video. Subscribe.